British scientists say a parasitic mite has wiped out billions of honeybees around the world. A virus carried by varroa mites has hit New Zealand's shores in 2000 and has now halved the bee population there. Here in Australia, measures to protect our local bee population from the disease are stepping up. Scientists say a decline in the bee population could have a catastrophic effect on the food chain. Well, for more, we're joined now by Dr. Sabine Perrone from Melbourne. She's the coordinator of Bee Force, a group of volunteers based in Melbourne who monitor hives in order to try and catch any evidence of the disease reaching our shores. Good morning, Dr. Perrone. Thank you for joining us on Weekend Breakfast.
Thank you for having me.
Now, Dr. Perrone, can you just tell us how is this virus actually affecting bees? I understand that around the world it's been decimating bee colonies.
Absolutely. It's actually vectored by a mite. This mite attaches itself to bees and transfers this deadly virus to colonies. And we're very lucky in Australia to be the only place left in this world varroa-free. And Bee Force is about involving urban hobby beekeepers in early detection of this mite carrying this deadly virus.
And how serious is the threat that Australia could in fact have this mite arriving here and affecting our own bee populations?
Oh, listen, it's this varroa mite is actually very close to us. It's in Papua New Guinea, it's in New Zealand, and the risk for it to actually arrive to the Australian shores is actually very, very high. And this is why we're trying our best to increase the early detection processes. It can arrive through different honeybee species like Apis cerana, or it could arrive through a port, on a boat, for instance, on a sailing boat, on shipment, on containers, and we want to be able to catch evidence of this mite very early on to increase our chances of eradication. And this is why those people who are located actually quite close to potential ingress points are essential in helping in this passive surveillance initiative.
Well, given that it could get to Australia via those ports and we have a large coastline, I imagine that we'd need quite a concerted effort to have a national program.
We do, and actually Victoria was a 2 years pilot, and it has demonstrated that volunteers are actually very reliable and dependable, and that we can involve them successfully in this type of processes, and that they can help probably in the long term local state initiatives, and that indeed it would certainly help the industry at large and pollination services too, threatening by the varroa mites. It would help everybody if we could extend this program nationally and ensure that we have even more people helping all around the coasts. That would be fabulous. Hopefully this will be discussed very soon. So let's keep our fingers crossed.
Absolutely. And if you could just explain, Dr. Perrone, how would the arrival of the varroa mite and obviously the virus that it carries, how much of an impact would that likely have here in Australia in terms of not just bees, but the flow-on effect for those industries that are reliant on pollination?
Well, the first thing that will happen is colonies will definitely start dying. And not only you'll have a decrease in the number of colonies available, but feral colonies also will disappear. And industries relying very heavily on pollination for their yield, like the almond industry and all of your pome industry, but also the seeds and, plenty of vegetables. All of those industries will be very heavily impacted simply because they will not have access to enough hives and enough colonies for pollination services. It will be very difficult for professional apiarists to keep their number of colonies up. So we need to get on top of this problem quite quickly. If varroa arrives here, we need to be quick at answering and trying to eradicate it. And if we cannot do this, then we have to put in place some very serious control measures and learn from countries overseas who have been dealing with varroa for quite a long time, for many years. Learn from them the best practices to keep varroa under control, because unfortunately when varroa will arrive here, we will be able probably to control it, but we will not be able to get rid of it. It will stay with us.
So, Dr. Perrone, in your opinion, are we in the best possible position to either prevent the mite arriving or to deal with it should it get here?
Listen, there's already quite a few initiatives in place, and the state of Victoria is very actively running some surveillance initiatives around the potential entry points. But having more people on board who are actively trained and actively able to detect the varroa mite would definitely help. And the more people we can enroll, the better it would be, because you want to have as many eyes and as many competent eyes as you can to basically raise the alarm if something is detected.
Dr. Perrone, thank you so much for your time on Weekend Breakfast this morning.
Thank you.